our law school. The law school is tough. We've all been there. Okay. Should I say this one is tougher because law school, it takes 12 seconds to answer one question. For the MC, 12 seconds to answer one question. But this one is about 90 seconds to answer one question. So this is New York Life Practice. So let me start. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to start straightforward. I'm not from a privileged background, and that is why my story is very critical. So whether the rich and the poor, my story will help both the rich and the poor. Because I'm not from a privileged background. In fact, my background almost kept my back on the ground. But I'm a very stubborn fighter. Okay? So I pulled out. I will start from the day of call to back. On the day of call to back, 10 minutes to the call-in time, I will know where to find because I was looking for how to sell my invitation. You know you have 2 invitations for outsiders. I don't know that we have, you remember, many of us have forgotten. Perhaps many of us are older, they are around older than back. You are just claiming yours. You have 2 invitation cards that you need to invite 2 people in. There are people who are there looking for cards to bring you more people. In fact, there's a community that was there, they want to bring the entire village in, including their masquerade into the place. So I was looking for them to sell that ticket because if I don't sell that ticket, I will not be able to come back to Lagos. That's how my case is. Or that's how my case was. Apart from that, I had the guy, I didn't have the wig on that day. I had no wig. They were already calling us in. As I kind of were calling us in, I didn't have the wig. I was still outside holding about. The woman said the wig now, I'm not part of those that. I said, I'm part of those, I don't have the wig. So she gave me one of the wig. Just use it and bring it back home. I want to break down my case so that I know where I'm coming from. This has nothing to do with how punished or whatsoever. So she gracefully gave me that wig and I got into a place. You know you have to look for yourself, but your name is tagged, you have worked hard. So your name is tagged there. Nobody can sponsor you. That was how it was then. I don't know how it is now. Now I was able to go in gracefully. I got in and sat down. The magic word was pronounced. I have to pray. I didn't look different from any other person. We looked all the same, except that our stories are different inside. Okay? So I was able to pull through on that. Then I thought when you are called to back, that your stories start to change from the call to back. My story didn't change. It got worse. Because I came back to Lagos and applied to the chamber that paid me 20,000 naira for 7 years. I was paid 20,000 naira for 7 years. I'm just repeating that. Nigeria has never been good. So don't tell me that Nigeria was good then. I've lived long enough to know that Nigeria has never been good. It was tough. So my first court session, I resumed at the Federal High Court. I was given the file to just go and move a motion. And I landed at the Federal High Court. That time was when you had AMCOM matter, a lot of AMCOM matters then on pre-action notice. Pre-action notice was just emerging then, and so there were a lot of disputes as to what it should be. If you have to sue a government agency, you must, first of all, send a pre-action notice. It is not a very old practice. It's not a very old practice. That was the time it was coming up. So the issues were based on that preliminary objection. And I got to the Federal High Court. I tried my best because I had written all I'm supposed to say. But when I stood up, I became blank. I didn't know what exactly to say any longer. until it was Justice Rita Jumogobia's court then. And as I was arguing the motion, she asked me whether I'm arguing my case or the adverse party's case. Because I was incongruent. I was neither here nor there. So it was a practice, but I was able to pull through. Then I did another one. And the more you do this, the more you get better. So after some weeks, the chamber got message that this your lawyer did it very well. So they packed all the AMCON cases in the chambers and gave it to me. I had 46 files. I didn't have a car. I didn't have money. I didn't have food. I didn't have nothing. I was almost like a refugee. Yes, I'm just trying to tell you what it takes to practice law. You must commit yourself to law. There is no plan B. Maybe for Gen Zs, those who want to sing and go and say hey, maybe. But for people like us who are hardliners in this practice, do you know what Cicero said about law? He said, law is the highest reasoning embedded in nature, which permits what should be done and forbids the contrary. That doesn't look like a pedestrian, I created a website. Not only that I have articles online, I created a website quickly. No one taught me this. I just felt that's what I should be doing because I need to be out there. I was praying alongside all that, doing all that. So, one fateful day, I received a call from the US. And when the man called me from the US, I was actually sleeping. I came back from court that day. I dozed off, snoring, sleeping. I was frustrated. I've always been frustrated. Just now that I came out from it. Yes. So, I was sleeping. Whilst I was sleeping, this man was calling me. He has called me like 4 times. My phone was on silent. You put your phone on silence in court. And sometimes when you are going home, you forget. So, while the man was calling, I didn't know that my life has changed already. I didn't know. I was sleeping. I didn't know. When I eventually saw the missed call, I called back. I noticed that I caught it, then he now called me back and told me that he's calling me from the United States. His company did a contract with the federal government so year. They were supposed to pay a certain amount of money. They didn't pay the money. That he read my article online that I did on stamp duty. I was a lawyer who went to court against stamp duty. If you remember then, when you buy anything higher than 1,000 naira, then the POS will charge you. Okay? I don't know that you remember. At that time, they will charge you 15 naira for every transaction. Okay? Because the policy was that, the central bank policy was that the merchant should pay that money. Okay, but what they did, they now pass it to the customers. So for like 2 years, they were collecting that money from every Nigerian. So I stood up and I said, this is wrong. I went to court. So when I went to court, Guardian and This Day published it. So that was the article he read and saw my name, took my name, Googled my name, and found my website and found my number. Do you see what I mean by online presence? Law. You see, the knowledge of law is everything. Every other thing is an addition. The reason I started this way by telling you about my poverty was because poverty is overwhelming. And a man that has gone through it cannot hide it. That's why I said, otherwise I would have started from the knowledge of law, diligence and excellence. Your knowledge of law is very, very critical. In the law school, they will tell you that when you file a case, the adverse party did not file anything. Just bring a motion for summary judgment. The court will just give you judgment. But you not thought that? I did it at the National Industrial Court. I filed a matter against Arik. They didn't file any response. So what I did next was to bring a motion for summary judgment. And I was waiting for the court to give me judgment so I would go and garnish their account. And the judge was laughing that day.
He said, why do you want this kind of judgment? I said, my Lord, they are not, they are not in court. They are not, we've served them. The evidence of service is there. They will not even come. He now asked me a question. He said, do you know if I give you this judgment today, that judgment is not on the merit and can be upturned at any time? And there's no way you will garnish their account without at least writing them a letter attached to the judgment and said that there's a judgment against them, they should pay. He said they will use that opportunity and then get a lawyer that will come. All your labor, they will upturn it. He said, go and bring your witness. Put him in the witness box. Let's run it through the process so that when I'm giving you judgment, I'm giving you something on the merit. Law school didn't teach me. I was just focused on law school, the way law school presented it. Okay? So master the law. That is very critical. Master the law is important. The knowledge of law will really give you a lot. And when you go to court, pay attention more to even cases that are not yours, because you will learn more from that. Okay? Pay attention to cases that are, pay serious attention. You know what young lawyers do? Many young lawyers have seen. I have one, a case I'm dealing with right now. It was a criminal case. The day the prosecution closed their case, the next day he went to fight defense. And he had filed it before he consulted me to help him look at it. And I asked him, do you know this is a criminal matter? And a criminal matter can go anywhere. Just today, as we are speaking now, the prosecution just closed its case on Nnamdi Kanu's case. This afternoon, right? And because you have a very experienced lawyer at the other side, Kanu Agabie said, he did not file defense. Don't file defense in criminal matter. Don't file defense. Don't file a defense. File a no-case submission. Don't file a defense. Because you are leading your client to prison. Three options are open to the defendant. One is to file a no-case submission. Another is to rest your case on the defendant's case, on the prosecution's case rather. And the third one is to file a defense. These three options, the filing a defense, it shouldn't even come to play at all. File a no-case submission. A no-case submission is required when the prosecution's case has been so destroyed during cross-examination that a reasonable court cannot rely on the evidence so adduced to convict the defendant. So, the knowledge of law is critical. The knowledge of law is very, very important. I've seen a case where a lawyer rests his case on that of the prosecution. And the moment I asked him, he said, that his defense is very clear, that it's alibi. That the client was not there, that he couldn't have. I said, if it's alibi, why don't you file a no-case submission? A no-case submission, you will argue why. You have a document, you have his international passport showing that your client was out of the country as at the time the said offense was committed. You have his international passport. You know the date the offense was committed. You know that was when he was away. Your no-case submission is where you can argue that conveniently. Why just rest it? So because all you need to do is to argue that line and then get your... So the knowledge of the law is very important. And when you... And to develop the knowledge of the law, you must, not in all cases, find a chamber. So I know some of you will not agree. Many of you want to be your boss the first day. It's not bad. It's not bad, except that you will learn the hard way. Yes, you will learn the hard way. You need to get into a chambers. The chambers where I work, they're not like I was the best. Not like I was even anything there. I was just there. I was just there. But I learned the law rapidly there. And learning the law doesn't necessarily mean you will learn it from your boss. I learned from a colleague in the chamber. I learned it because I didn't have plan B. I cannot sing to save my life. I cannot sell wig. I cannot open a restaurant. I cannot do any kind of business other than this law. So because I don't have any plan B, I have to make sure that I do everything possible to put myself in order. Okay? So get a law firm. If you are not in one, don't be bothered about what you are paid. Don't worry. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the assurance. Don't be bothered about what. If they lie, let them not pay you. Just survive. Just survive. Just survive. I went to the island to look for a job there. You know what the man told me? He said, "Gentleman, come. Have you been called to the bar?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Are you confident of yourself?" I said, "Yes." He now called one of the staff. "Have you interviewed him?" He said, "Did he pass the interview?" He said, "Oh, never mind." "Have you been called to the bar?" I said, "Yes." It's okay. Come, I will breathe the law into you. The knowledge of the law you got from the law school is not sufficient to sustain practice. In fact, when you are out of the law school, that's when you now discover how deficient you are, really, in this whole thing. You know how difficult it was for this thing they were preaching at the law school to get into the head. It was so hard to get in. I remember my friend, very brilliant, the day the microphone landed on his hand, and they asked him what his pleadings. He lost control of his bearing. What is pleadings? And they asked the question so deceptive because you cannot define pleadings. So when you say what is pleadings, how do you define pleadings? You are going to say for civil cases, you have a statement of claim, you have a statement of defense, list of witnesses, list of documents, because that's what pleading is. So can it be defined? The question should have been, list the document that constitute pleadings. It didn't enter. It was difficult for it to go in. Okay? There were some areas of the law that were so difficult, that there were some areas of the law that we had to read every day. Corporate practice. In property, wills. In property, if you don't read wills every day, you're on your own. So because it's broad. So, but we have all passed that now. When you constitute your chambers, that is if you are now on your own. I mean, even when you are in a law firm, there's no law that says you cannot do your personal matters. Even though some law firms have policies, they'll say, this law firm, we don't tolerate, don't listen to that thing they are saying. Because nobody can pay a lawyer. Nobody can pay a lawyer. That's the truth. You know what it took you to become a lawyer? You cannot be paid. You sacrifice virtually your life to become a lawyer. So no law firm can trap you down. Say, this law firm. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you have your case and you want to bring it for the firm to do it, fine. If you want to do it on your own, you want to do it, fine. Doesn't matter. But what you should not do is to conflict interests. To use the company's time to do private. That's what you should not do. But that you cannot do, maybe draft an agreement and all that you can easily do. No. You can do it. You can do it. The practice, people are so repressed in the practice that sometimes you find it difficult to make headway when you are really, really depressed in the practice or repressed. Now, when you put out your name in a law firm, if you have started yours, let someone else answer the calls. I answered the calls that time on my own because I told you my own practice was don't answer the calls yourself. You know, while I was in the US, I made some contacts to get some lawyers to do some things for me. That's when my eyes opened. You cannot talk to a lawyer in the US. Cannot. You will speak to the paralegals. The paralegals will interview you. They will check out your documents, check out everything. Then they will give you an appointment. Some of the appointment you pay $300. Some you pay $500. $500 is close to $1 million to see the lawyer. He has not accepted your case. So it's for him to interrogate, for him to hear you out. I think we can do it here. It's just that sometimes survivor will not allow us to face. You see, because survivor, you have to survive. Some people don't understand what I mean by survivor. The science of survivor. You can easily shortchange yourself if you are beclouded with survivor. When I started practice newly, there was this guy that gave me a deed of assignment of a land he bought 450,000 naira. He offered me, I do not lie, God is my witness, he offered me 10,000 naira as my legal fees. That's what he offered me. I go back home, I look at myself as a mirror. I bought in my suit again. I was looking for what is wrong with me. But you know why he did that? He knew me while I wasn't a lawyer. And when I became a lawyer, he knew that I just been called and I don't have anything. So what he did was to quickly get the land and rush to me to exploit me. That's what he did. I did not collect the 10,000 naira. And I did not do the job. And I told myself that if I'm going to die, let me just die. Now for me to collect 10,000 naira. It's not today that they've made 10% compulsory. And even when you tell the client that 10% is compulsory, even to date, they don't want to listen. There's a property we're trying to sell. And I told the client that it's 10%. You know, it's 10%. You know, the 10% is this money, this is so big. I said, excuse me, sir, I've earned more than that. What is so big in that money that you cannot give me? It's 10%, that's my contribution to it. He said, no, the money is too much. I said, it's too much, but we cannot break the law. You are not aware that there's a new law that starts with 10%? Are we not all aware? Are the clients paying? They are not. Yeah, because I don't just want to be talking, that's so interactive. They are not paying. Some will say 2%, some will say 5%. Yeah, some will say let us negotiate. You see why I say that your client is not your friend? Yes. If your client, if they see how to kill you, they will kill you. They are not your friends. And you must not make them friends, because the moment you make them friends, they will not pay you any longer. There's a lot of exploitation in this law business. People will exploit you. You understand? Then the useless client that need to send documents. Those are sent to WhatsApp. Help me review this, help me review that. Don't review anything. You know what I used to do? When they send it to me, I'll send it back to them. That's what I used to do. Yes. If you send it back, that comes out. You just send me back the document and I say yes. My boss then, as big as he was then, used to tell me that he cannot review any document with empty stomach. I took a file to him. It was a very critical case. That this client, we need to work on this for him to review so that he can give me direction on what to do next. He now asked me, when was the last time the client paid money? I told him, he took the file and closed it and gave it back to me that he cannot review a case with empty stomach. But that's the truth. Why should you? Legal practice is the only thing you have. So you have to guard it diligently. You cannot review it. You cannot. You need to mind what you allow in this practice. You need to mind what you allow. You need to mind what you allow. Because the moment you allow it for the first time, you will not be able to take it back. Your issue will keep degenerating. You will not know how to reclaim your dignity. So don't allow just anything. Go out and tell people that you are a lawyer. Anywhere you go, tell them you are a lawyer. Just go out. Join as many clubs as possible. As many outings as possible. Tell them you are a lawyer. Let people know the legal implications of things. You are not telling them to help them, you are advertising yourself. Don't give up on this practice. There are people who had studied something else before. They were doing something else before they became lawyers. Now that they are lawyers, they are now struggling with how to retain that thing they have done before. And retain, at the end of the day, they will not be able to do anyone effective. If you have anything you have done before in the past that is giving you whatever, drop it and pick law. Yes. Law is very powerful. I'm telling you. Law is very powerful. You need to see me in those days when I was trying to prove that law is okay. It took me time. It took me time. But at the nick of time, I discovered that you cannot give law everything and be stranded. It's when you are giving law one leg in, one leg out. One leg, law will show you that is jealous. You cannot. You can't do that. So you give it all. Because when you are called to bar, it's like being born again. No man takes away my life. I am my own violation laid down. When I lay it down, I'll pick it up again. It's like laying down your entire entity for the practice. I know that there are people who were called to the band, they went to sing rap music and all that. One thing you must know is that they had parallel talents. And many of them were only influenced, coerced, or forced to study law. So because those are the examples we see, and I say, this person studied law, but now he's acting. I'm not saying you should not act. But the field of law is so powerful. If you know the business and marketing side of it, because some of us, lawyers, law will put you in two extremes. Two extremes. Extremely rich, extremely poor. I've seen rich lawyers, very, very rich lawyers. I have seen poor lawyers. You know what it takes to have intellectual, to know everything and be poor? It's double jeopardy. You know everything, all the rules of court, all the sections of the law. You can regurgitate it. In fact, you are a moving law, or you are poor. You know what that is? You know there are lawyers like that. You've not seen poor lawyers. If you see poor lawyers, you compare them with rich lawyers. You know that the law can put you in two extremes. Any place the law places you is always an extreme. You know how you were when you were in secondary school now? You were innocent. The moment you did legal method and introduction to law, you became radicalized. You don't remember? Before you know it, they taught you thoughts. They brought evidence. The one they used to cap everything on is when they taught you jurisprudence. Your head now pieces. You don't know what you are doing again. At that point, you are already initiated. And you are heading somewhere to either be very rich or very poor. That's what you must understand. Because at that point, you cannot go back. Even when you decide to go sell things, do buying and selling, you will still be radicalized. You will be the union leader there. Yes. Because your DNA has been altered. Something strange has happened to you unknown. Your intellection, your image, your everything have been altered. And what Lord does is that He alters it forever. So you cannot study law and then somebody is misbehaving in your estate. You can't, even if you are not practicing. You will be the first person to start to beat the drum of war. Because you cannot be repressed. That's what Lord does to you. So, since the thing has altered your life already, what is left? Is it not to give it everything? It's to give it everything and emerge victorious. I know that practice is no longer the way it used to be. When I started practice, in the law firm I was practicing, we used to have clients. They would fill up the waiting area. Some of them will be standing at the staircase to the down floor. Every day. Then, today, practice is no longer that way because the citizens have no disposable income. But practice is still good. So don't abandon it for anything. Don't abandon it for anything. Don't. That is what I will do. I will not abandon the law for anything. I will not. Because I do not actually have options. I don't have options. Now, what you can also do is to form partnership. Okay? You know, when you read my profile, you saw me listing so many areas. That's marketing. That's marketing because that is online. So you can form partnerships. That's also, some of you are already in partnerships, right? Some of you are already in law firms where you are partners. And that's very good. Okay? But those of you that are in law firms, do law firms still pay 20? Is this in online? Huh? Huh? I want to know whether, are you live? Because 50,000. Okay, there's 30,000. They start with 30. Appearance fee. That's a very dangerous practice. If only appearance fee is what you are getting. So if you are in those law firms where they are paying 30,000 naira, use God to beg them to increase the money. you will not be able to survive it. So because a lawyer cannot have 30,000 naira and be whatever it is. So one other thing you must do is to invest in your mobility as a lawyer. Invest in your mobility. It is presumed that the lawyer that drives the car knows the law. Yes. It's cosmetic understanding of process. The lawyer that is driving a car knows the law. The one that doesn't have car doesn't know law. Because if he knew law, he would not be driving. That's the first impression. That's the society. That's how the society thinks. For some of us who do analysis on TV and radio, because I didn't tell you this part, because I don't know that you have interest. For some of us that do analysis on TV and radio, they think we are the one that know everything. I'm telling you. 80% of the clients, they come from people who watch you on TV and radio. So if you can do analysis, if your mouth is sharp, and you know few sections of the law, and you can recite it, just go on TV, start to shout. You understand? Just go on TV, start to shout. When you shout to a point, they will call you and say, please come and do this or come and do that case. Fight genuine causes. I'm not saying you should go out there and deceive people. You understand? When I sued my state governor, Delta State, the government called me to give me money. I didn't collect it. Because at the time they were calling me, I have already bypassed poverty. If they had called me when I was poor, maybe, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that sue your state governor. They are doing something wrong. Just check what they are doing. There's something wrong there. You sue them. I'm telling you. Check. Did you see the WAEC and JAM this year? Did you notice that one lawyer went to court and sued JAM for 10 billion naira? And one other lawyer went to court and sued WAEC for 100 billion. Did you read that? You didn't see it? Okay, you didn't see it. Okay. I am actually the lawyer. Yes. Because I checked the Child Rights Act and I noticed that subjecting children to that kind of is against the Child Rights Act. It's also against the African Charter on Women and People's Rights. It's also against the Constitution. So all those infractions, I put them together and sued JAM. Why I did their own, I put all those infractions together. I sued them. As I'm talking to you now, people are defecating on the expressway. Nigerians are on the Beggar Expressway. They're defecating there. I used to go and arrest, I will park, when I'm going to court, I will park. Arrest citizens who are defecating. When I could no longer do that anymore because I'm also tired, I went to court and I sued the Ogun State Attorney General and the Lagos State Attorney General against open defecation. You see, your law should not just be for your own sustenance. Your law should be for social reform. Okay? And if you go there now on the Lagos side, you will see that all our prayers that we asked for, even the case have not even commenced, but all our prayers, everything we asked for in that process, the Lagos state government had kept a task force there. Clean up the place, clear the place, and ensure that nobody's defecating on the Lagos side of it. On the Ogun State side of it, they are defecating as they like there. That's what I'm saying. So look at your environment very well. There's one big man there that's doing nonsense. Sue him. Yes. You need to contribute to the development of your immediate society. Law should be able, is a form of social engineering. Okay? So while we're talking about what you should do to make it big time in law, we should also look at what you should do to use law to reform your society. If you also can, like I said before, if you also can talk on radio, on TV, go there and talk. This is the NBA. Most of you also restrict yourself to the NBA only. There's the African Bar Association. I'm a member of the African Bar. There's the International Bar Association. I'm a member of the International Bar Association. So for two persons, because young lawyers have a very limited amount of money they pay, very small. So if two persons that have interest to join the African Bar, this year's conference in Ghana, last year we're in Zambia, the year before we're in South Africa. Two persons who have interest to join the African Bar and wants to attend this year's conference. Two persons. You will pay for your registration and I will pay your airfare to Ghana. Two persons. Two persons. So if there are more than two, if there's more than two, we'll do ballots. Two persons. Because you know why, let me tell you why I'm saying this about the African Bar. When you go to the African Bar Conference, it's not crowded. You meet one-on-one with very prominent lawyers in this country. Babatunde Ogala SL, you know him? Is a personal counsel to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as we speak. You meet him one-on-one if you go for the African Bar Conference. J.K. Gazama SL, you know him? The very biggest, J.K. Gazama, last year when we went for the conference in Zambia. He came into the conference with his private jet from Nigeria. Okay, you don't know that lawyers have the highest number of private jet owners in Nigeria. You don't know? Don't practice small practice. Meet up with big lawyers. Okay? For your information, lawyers dominate that sphere, followed by preachers. Because tithe and offering is very high, followed by preachers. But lawyers dominate that sphere. Okay? So you will meet those kind of lawyers. That's what I'm talking about at the African Bar Conference. That's the advantage. Sometimes when you are joining an association, look at the pros and cons. What can you get out of this? For young lawyers, how much is there? I can't remember. I don't think it's up to $200. We pay our annual dues for $500. Senior lawyers, junior lawyers, I don't think it's up to 200. Then you pay your airfare there. That's how to join the club. But for this one, I say 2 persons. Because I'm just trying to run my head across. If you are interested, and what this will do for you is that it will give you international perspectives, like the African perspective. Then if you can afford the International Bar Association, that one I cannot guarantee ticket for anybody because it's in Toronto. It's in Toronto, Canada, this year, between the 1st of November to the 7th of November. So if you are interested and you have the capacity, you can, join all these associations. They are very, very important. The law is not restricted to courtroom. I know some of you like litigation. I know some of you have started wearing that striped trouser. How many persons have started wearing striped trouser here? Eh? If you have started wearing that striped trouser, you can never leave litigation. That's on a lighter note. But that striped trouser, I have never seen a lawyer that started wearing that trouser that have left litigation. So, I have never worn it before. I don't know why. I have serious anxiety for that stripe. So I've not worn it before. I don't know whether I will wear it someday because I like litigation. But maybe someday I will wear it. But for now, I don't think for now I will wear it. So please join this association. That's very important. The law is not restricted to courtroom. We have said it here already that diligence in your practice, excellence, knowing the law is very critical. But after you have known the law, your knowledge of the law should yield, should give you is sufficient to, take you to the next level. You understand? Your knowledge of the law will not network for you. Okay? So you need to go out and network. You understand? Your online presence, remember. You need a serious online presence. Remember it. Do not do small cases. Do not attempt to help me to check this small, do this small brief, that small brief, that small brief. Don't do it. If they send you document on WhatsApp for you to review without any payment, send the document back to the person. So I'm just recapping. That is about everything you need to know. What I shared with you today is the first time I'm sharing this. It's actually from a book I'm writing that I'm sharing this with you. So there are still some other areas, but we don't have time anymore. Okay, so from my story, let my story inspire you. It's a story of poverty, but it's inspiring. Okay? So let it inspire you and put in all possible. Put in all possible. Don't be deterred. This law will pay when you pay your dues. Some people, their problem, especially the Gen Z, that age bracket, Many of them want to start from the top. You understand? You know, the most unfortunate generation in the world is Gen Z, the X generation. That's those born between 1976 to 1980. It's the generation that suffered with their parents. The moment they're about to get a break for themselves, they're not suffering to train their children. That generation is trapped. That's my generation. That generation is trapped. They are in a silo. The generation that's in a silo. The Gen Z, these Gen Z people, these Gen Z people are not ready to take care of anybody. Because once you just give them any stress, they tell you mental health. You are attacking their mental health. You understand? They are very knowledgeable, very forceful, but they are not strong. So if you are Gen Z and this is affecting your law practice, that's why I'm saying this, because we have some Gen Z now that are caught to bar, right? Those ones that are 21, 22, 23. Some of them are caught to bar, right? Yes. Those ones cannot collect 30,000 naira in law firm. When they are going to court, they will put earpiece. They are not listening to any law, it's music. So that generation, if it is affecting your law practice, you need to learn from the X generation, otherwise known as the sufferhead generation. There are a few lessons you can learn from them and put your practice in order. So that is where I'll close for today. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Every one of us, I'm sure, we've tapped one or two things from this presentation. I, for one, I don't want it to end. But everything that has a beginning must have an end. For instance, I've learned today, you must have an online presence. You cannot do without it. You've learned from his own story how it has helped him. And you know, let me tell you one easy way to success. Be a copycat. Just copy what a successful person has done. You will see the same result. So let's start copying Mr. Ofeli. Let's develop our online presence. One other takeaway from me, don't make friends with your clients. I will tell you a short story. I have a friend. Interestingly, we went to the same polytechnic together, but we didn't know each other then. Because I was in the North campus, he was in the South campus. We graduated the same year. But he's a big boy now. He works in a bank. If he gives me, he will buy a property and give me, he will look for a tenant through agent. Then he will tell me, that your legal fee, you will give me commission. I said, it's something they worry you. That's to tell you, he's interested in, he's not protecting my interest. He wants money by all means. So your clients are not your friend. Just to support what Mr. Ofeli has told us. And then master the law. Nobody can, you can't overemphasize that. Tell people you are a lawyer. Let them know the legal implication of things. That's how, and that's true. I tell people a lot, that a lot. You go to churches, you just go in, sneak out. Nobody knows what you do. Let them know you are a lawyer. And then one other thing, we're presumed to be the most intelligent people. That's why they'll bring their issues to you. So he has told us so many things that can't start going over and over and over. I know we're brimming with questions. Time will not permit us to take so many questions, but if you have a question, let me just see your hand up. So that we can know how to manage the time. Thank you. 1, Francisca. 2. Going, gone. 3, doctor. Okay, very well. So we'll start. Ladies first. Francisca. Sorry, Mr. Ofeli, should we take all the questions together so that you can answer them, or we'll take one after the other? How do you want it? Okay. Okay, Francisca. Right.
It depends on the trajectory of your life. I was discussing with you, Dr. Shoma, I mean, many of you know him. Yes. He said when he was in practice, that he just woke up one day and told his boss that he's tired of moving much, he wants to go and move his life forward. They weren't paying well at one. So, when, like me, I have a very strong things. I know when things are off and when things are over. Okay? So, just rely on instructions when you are done. But when you have acquired sufficient knowledge of the law that can sustain you, keep you can call it quits. To go your own or to join another law firm or to form partnership or whatsoever. Me, as at the time I left my law firm, as at the time I left, it was even better I left because the whole place has gone to something else there. You understand? The man who owned the law firm, his son had graduated and joined the firm. Is it not enough?
Eh? Because the boy went to a private school too, so it was quick. He just came out and he's in the law firm now. And I felt that, no, this thing is this is becoming too much. So part of the reason. So it really does not mean it must be 6 years, 4 years. Because if you start to, like I said, this is your first 7 years as a lawyer, what you must do. And you must do them quick and early. Okay? You are called to bar today, tomorrow. Begin to put these things in practice. Everybody needs a lawyer. Every organization needs a lawyer. People need a lawyer everywhere. But the few ones who have visibility are the ones they believe know the law. When they call me that, can I do a tripartite agreement? I don't know what a tripartite agreement meant that time. And as I was talking, I just Googled. I started reading. Before they called me back, I gathered a lot of, and when I started talking, you would think that I used to teach that thing. So, and they came in to set up an airline. You understand? So, just use your initiative. I hope that answers the question. Yes.
Careful of litigation. So, but now I think he's running his master program. So it was not like for me to be able to attend my master program and at least secure, earn some money. So you have to come back to litigation. So he now says there's one matter at hand which borders on labor matters that will go to national industrial courts. So he was now asking me that if he takes the matter, I told him this is what's supposed to have done, this is what's supposed to have done, write letter, something like that. He said he has done it. I was not like, okay, if you now file the matter in court, and probably maybe when you get to some stage, court find his client for one or two reasons, or even at the end of the day, maybe they counter claim and the matter later turn upside down. That what will be his fate? Something like that. I was not like, well, to me, it's your matter. You are not the one that the court is going to have to pay, even if at the end of the day those guys counter claimed and the matter turn what's it called? Turn around. So I'm not trying to relate it with what you earlier said as to sue anybody, sue your state governor, sue, you understand?
Yeah.
So I'm not like, fine, you may have your own case, you have your own facts, but don't you think that in the other way around, they too may have their defense and the court may.
Yes, so I understand your question. Everybody have a defense. Right?
Yes.
If there's a counter claim, status will change. Right?
Then you will respond to it. I have never filed a defense without a counter claim. I will look for something. Because a counter claim puts the claimant under pressure. You understand? So what you need is to put them under pressure. So your defense, you always have a counter claim. It's very important because there's one or two things they are also doing wrong. Like you are saying that even though they sued me on this, I have this, and this against them. That's what counter claim means. So why should they be scared? The lawyer should be scared that they file a counter claim. They should file anything they want to file. You file your defense. You understand? As a lawyer, you have to be aggressive. This, you see, practice, litigation to be specific, is war. You don't know it's war? Litigation is war. Yes. So, during trial, you don't spare your witness. Make sure that you destroy and discredit. That's your assignment in cross-examination. So, for you to say if it's a labor matter, then if they file a counter, you file. You file your own against it. So that's not. But when I say sue your governor, I'm not saying you just go and start to sue. You must have injury. There must be injury. There must be something that borders on that. You must have a case. It's not just to start to. You understand? Though we all approach this law in different ways. Okay, there are people who are scared of what you understand, and that's because they have something to lose. But some people that have nothing to lose, what do you want them to do? He that is down, needs fear no fall. Your name must be heard. You cannot be too careful in this practice. You have to do something. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I'm personally inspired by your presentation. And I must say thank you. There is something I noted when you said three things in one, sir. How do we handle pro bono cases? You know, you said I've had so many friends who say just review those cases. Now we'll send it back. But how do you handle pro bono cases? Because I've learned, you know, from do some pro bono cases to get into the big breaks or something like that. That is one. Then how do you handle friends, as you said, with some pro bono cases? Then in my practice, I've drafted wills for about 4 to 5 persons, while in the chambers I have some tutelage and pupillage and outside of it. But I didn't actually charge them, the 4 or 5 persons, because I felt they were close, I didn't know how to actually charge them. So please, I want some direction in that regard.
5 persons.
Yes.
There's a secret I want to reveal to you. There's no course you were taught in the law school that has to do with the business of practice. The business of practice, you have to learn it yourself. And I'm sure when they give you those briefs, you just finish it in a few minutes. Call them and say it's finished. Don't finish it like that. You understand?
It will take time.
Don't finish it like that. Especially when they are not paying anything. You see, you are supposed to tell them. You let them know that to draft a will and to lodge it costs so much. You let them know that it costs so much. In 2014, I drafted a will in 2014. As far back as 2014. And I charged 1.4 million in 2014.
I collected the money. Do you know how much they used to lodge will then in Lagos State? The official fee to lodge a will in Lagos State then was 600 naira. But I told the client that not only are we going to draft the will, we will proofread it, we will take it for initials, and from initials we'll take it for lodgement. That in the event of his demise, the will be read, and they will. So you will stop plenty things around it. You understand? You will make it look humongous. Yes. I charged 1.4 in 2014. So you don't do 5 wills free. Because I didn't talk about my pro bono cases. There was a time all my cases were almost pro bono. Because the way I spoke today, you would think I don't do pro bono. But my pro bono is only for women and children. Only. That's my decision, yes. My pro bono is only for women and children. There was a time I had pro bono cases that, in fact, I didn't even have any paid matter at some point. They were all pro bono against women and children. But you know what? While I was doing those cases, pro bono wholeheartedly for women and children, I got several briefs from the United Nations, from the USAID, not now that Trump has scattered the whole thing, from the USAID and from a lot of international organizations, and I did a lot of jobs for them, which they paid for. Again, you must have an online presence. How did they get me? Did they come to my house? Did they know my chambers? I was visibly online. When they went to Google, they saw me. When they went to YouTube, they saw me on TV. When they went to Facebook, I was there. Instagram, I was there. As deep as Snapchat, I was there. Those 14-year-old, I'm there. I'm there. Talking law. Everywhere. So anywhere they go, they will see me. That's what I'm saying. So, for friends whom you know they are not indigent, they should pay for it. Did they support your law school program? Huh? They didn't pay your school fees, so they are friends. You draft a will for them, you do anything for them, they have to pay legal fees. Eh? You know, the next time they want to give you a brief, you know what you do? You are still in a law firm, you are starting your own. You attach your law firm. The next time they want to give you a brief, let them talk to your secretary. They should send the brief to her. That's from where you start to put them on the edge. They don't send the brief to you. They should send the brief to somebody. Just get someone your law firm, send it just to, let them just send it there. Not like it's important, but let them send it there. So that you start to prepare their mind for what they have to pay. Yes, because this practice, you cannot do it free. In the olden days, it's only the elite that study law. That's why this is our wig and gown. There's one thing there at the back. That thing that they put coin there. Me, you put coin for that place. Why? So how will I survive to come to court the next day? You cannot do case with empty stomach. It's not possible. Don't allow it. Because you will collapse. You may be doing it because you have other means of sustenance. You understand? I'm not saying you should not do pro bono. You do pro bono. I do a lot of pro bono. But my pro bono is only for indigent people. People that cannot pay. You cannot draft, anybody that is drafting a will, have some things. You are writing, I've acquired some things. Otherwise, do you need a will if you have nothing? You don't have anything. You don't have anything, you don't need a will. Jesus did not even leave a will. He just ascended. He didn't have anything. He didn't have anything. People that have something that they want, because all those paragraphs of the will has to be filled up with things I've acquired. So all those things that I've acquired, all those that I acquired, you now do this thing free for them like that. No. No. In fact, what you're supposed to do is to look at the value of all those things and charge them 10% of it. That's what you should do. They have to pay for it. Because if they don't pay you as a lawyer, you will soon collapse. So that's it. Any other question? All right. So in the absence of question,
Ikeja branch, Mr. Evans Philly, want to say a very big thank you. Today has been a day well invested for every one of us that is here, and we can't just but continue saying thank you. During introduction, I introduced you as a friend of the house.